welcome you all for this today's session. So this is the second chapter of your second module. So that is Advanced CSS. Okay, Advanced CSS. In this chapter, we are going to discuss what layout of a CSS main web page. Okay, so here we're gonna position and layout of elements. Actual position and layout of CSS elements are what we call it as a normal flow. Okay, so normal flow. What do you mean by normal flow? Nothing but if you are define elements, how it gonna be displayed on a web page. So that is what normal flow. So all block level, okay, block level and inline elements. So all these elements so will be displayed from left to right and top to bottom. So what about the normal flow of elements? So both block level and inline elements are displayed from left to right and top to bottom. So this is what the normal way. Okay. So what do you mean by block level and inline elements? So we will look into this two elements in detail. So first one, block level elements. So first one is what block level elements. So it contain on their own line because these elements begin with a line break. Okay, so you have that slash n in your C language, right? So what it mean? It's a new line character. So like that, all the block level elements are defined with a new line character at the beginning. Okay, so it has been begin with. Okay, so it has been begin with what new line character, that is what line break. So no two block level elements will be displayed on the same line. Why? Because all the block level elements are begin with what new line character. That means every block level elements will be displayed in different lines. Okay, so no two block level elements are on same line. Okay, same line. So and again it will follow what normals. So and this block level elements will support what CSS box model, and in that we can use properties like background, padding, spacing and all. So these properties we can use with what block level elements. Okay, example is what P paragraph tag. So and again div tag, so division tag. So and again followed by what table next H tags, H1, H2, H3. So all are what block level tags, and also UL. Okay, so UL list, unordered list, ordered list, OL, LI. So these are all what block level elements. So whenever you write these elements on your HTML page, so these elements will be displayed in a single line. Okay, so paragraph will be displayed in one line, and again if you have 2 or 3 paragraph like this. Okay, so P some text hello slash P, and again one more P. Okay, so how are you slash P. Okay, so here I have what 2 paragraph, right? Okay, so these 2 paragraph will be displayed in 2 different lines. Why? Because so this is what the block level element. So before printing this message on your web page, it's going to write new line character. Okay, in a new line it's going to print what? hello. After that again one more p, right? Again new line, and in the next line it going to display how are you message. So likewise all these are what? Example of block level elements. So then what about inline elements? And the next one is what? Inline element. Okay, so as the name suggests that we can write what? 2 or more inline elements on a same line. Okay, so here these elements do not form their own blocks. That means it won't display on a separate lines. Okay, so instead it will be displayed within line itself. Okay, so inline elements are lined up horizontally. Okay, lines up horizontally one after other. If there is no enough space after it, means it will come to what? Next line. It don't have enough space to display that element, then it will come to what? Next line. So example is what? em emphasize, a anchor tag, and again span tag, so and again image tag. So all these are all what? Example of inline elements. So there are two types of inline elements. One is replaced, another one is non-replaced. What do you mean by replaced and what do you mean by non-replaced? Is nothing but, so replaced is nothing but actual code, actual data will be replaced by what? The external source. For example, image. So image, whenever you use what? The image tag, that image will be loaded by the external source. That means that image will be stored somewhere else, is not a part of this HTML document, right? Okay, so that is what? Replaced inline tag. So what about non-replaced? So whatever the document which need to be displayed is what? The part of HTML tag itself. Okay, HTML document itself. So inline elements, two types. First one, replaced inline element, and second one is non-replaced inline elements. So what do you mean by replaced and non-replaced? So replaced inline element are elements whose content is defined by some external resources. Example is what? I have already told you. So image tag. So in that image tag we will give what? Source and all, right? Okay, within that we are given source, that means path of that image file. Okay, so this is what example of a replaced inline element. Wherever you are using this image tag, so it has been replaced by actual image which is located somewhere else, is not a part of HTML document. And again width and height property of that image will be defined again in a external resource itself. Okay, if that image is bigger size, then it occupies what? More size on your web page. So that is what, and again it follows what? CSS box model. Okay, since that height and width is what defined by external resources, so that it will follow CSS box model. Okay, so next one is non-replaced inline elements. So non-replaced inline elements are those elements whose content is defined within the document itself. That means HTML document itself. Okay, so whatever the content which you are after that tag. Okay, so it has been displayed on your web page. and it will follow what constraint box model. Why we are going to, okay, this supports what normal CSS box model, but it is what constraint. So why it is constraint is nothing but we can define, for example, font size, font color, line spacing. Okay, so all this we can define within this element itself. Okay, that's why it's a constraint box model. It support constraint box model. So you can see on our picture both. Okay, first one is what block level elements. So all these elements will be appear in a single line. Okay, and again inline elements. Now you can see that inline elements. And you can also observe that whenever I'll resize the screen, that all those inline elements which I have defined in a single line, even though if I have defined that in a single line, you can observe that when I resize that web page, browser, so automatically it will come to what next line. So you can notice that on a picture. Next topic, positioning elements. Positioning elements is nothing but we can place, we can position our elements on a web page. Okay, there are 4 types of positioning elements. So one is absolute, relative, fixed, and last one is what? Static. So what do you mean by absolute? So absolute position is nothing but the element is removed from the normal flow. Actual normal flow is what from left to right and top to bottom, is it right? Okay, it has been removed from that normal flow, and so position in relation to its nearest position ancestor. That means, so it based on the previous element which we already displayed. Okay, so in related to that previous element we can display, we can define, so where that new element has to be displayed on a web page. So that is what absolute. That means it will relate to what a previous one. And next one is relative. So next one is what relative. The element is moved relative to where it is, it would be in a normal flow. So actually in a normal flow, that first element, after that second element I need to display means, so it will follow that normal flow, that is left to right and top to bottom. Okay, so whenever we'll resize that, then that place is might be what that element might be on a same row will come to what the next line. Okay, so but the order in which we are displayed, okay, so it will follow that normal flow order only. Next one is what fixed element. Okay, so fixed position. The element is fixed in a specific position in the window even when the document is scrolled. Okay, so that means that image is fixed. Even we have many other elements, and we will scroll also, you can see that that image is fixed and in that particular position itself. Okay, so that is what fixed position. So next one is static. Static is nothing but the element is positioned according to the normal flow. That means, so according to normal flow, so it's going to display, that means from left to right and top to down, and this is what by default. Okay, if you are not mentioned any of this position, means by default it is what static. Okay, it will follow that normal flow. So that is from left to right and from top to bottom. So let's see one by one in with example. Okay, so before to that there are some position properties. So position properties, that is left, right, top and bottom. So we can alter the position, okay, we can fix the position just by using these four properties. So left means that element will be up your left to left side of your screen, right mean right side of your screen, top means so at the top of that web page, and again bottom means at the bottom of the web page. So likewise, so we have this four properties in order to alter or in order to fix the position on a web page, okay, position of an element on a web page. So let's move on to one by one this positions, absolute, relative, fixed and static, one by one with example. So as I already discussed, there are four position values: absolute, fixed, relative and static. So let us first study look into what relative positioning. Okay, so for that, here they are taken what one paragraph in that 3 to 4 lines of code, and again figure in that figure. As you can see that we have both image as well as fig caption. Okay, so and again after that figure again paragraph. So look here, the figure has both image as well as figure caption. Okay, so that same thing. Okay, uh, this is what the code. This is what the code I have edited. Here also I have taken what one paragraph followed by what figure. Okay, and again one more paragraph. Okay, one more paragraph. So for time being, I have taken same text over here. Okay, that paragraph text content is what same. Now image 1.jpg. Okay, image 1.jpg is what the image, and the caption is what MIT Mysore. Here I have taken our college image here. Okay, so if I'll run this, okay, I'll refresh this. Okay, so this is what the output for this program. Okay, for this program this is what the output. I have not mentioned any style for that figure, or else for what paragraph. Okay, so here I can add style for that. So look here, so figure, so for that figure there is a border, and again background, padding value, and width is what 300 pixel, position is what relative. Okay, position is what relative. So from top it is 100 and from left it is what 200. Okay, so now I'll press Ctrl S. So for that same program I'm going to add this style. Without style, what was the output? This is what the output for that without style. So what about the content after this image? So which has been displayed in a separate line. Is it right? That is separate. Okay, so that is what begin in a new line. Okay, fine. Now I will refresh the page for this. Okay, here I have written that style for figure, right? Okay, so now you can see that you can see border, background as well as position. What about the position? So here I have taken that position is what relative is nothing but, so from this to this. Okay, so here we already have a paragraph, right? So from this paragraph, so top position, and again from the left. Okay, so where my image has to display. So from the top it is 100 pixel, and from the left it is what 200 pixel. It's nothing but, you can see the space here, right? So from left to up to figure it is what 200 pixel. And what about this height? Okay, that is what 100 pixel. So actually relative is nothing but that element will be displayed relative to the last element. What about the last element here? It is a paragraph. Okay, so paragraph, from this paragraph top equal to 100 pixel, that means the distance between these two is what 100 pixel. And again from left to image, okay, figure. Okay, so left. Okay, that is what 200 pixel. Next, what about if I'll make that as what absolute value. Now I'll press Ctrl S. I'll come back to web page. Now I'll refresh this. So now you can see this. Okay, absolute is nothing but, so from the body, okay, so it's nothing but within this browser. So from the top to the image is what the top value, and again from the left it is what 200 pixel. Here it is 100 pixel and 200 pixel. So absolute is nothing but within that page where my image has to be displayed. Okay, that is what absolute. Relative means which is related to what previous element. Okay, now the distance from here to here is what 100 pixel, and from here to here is what uh, 200 pixel in absolute. Okay, so that is what they were explained here. You can see that relative is nothing but, so this is what from the previous element. Okay, from the previous element the distance is what, here they have taken 150 pixel. Okay, 150 pixel, uh, top is what 150 pixel, but I have taken what 100 pixel. What about from left to mean from towards left, what is the distance? That is 200 pixel. Okay, so this is what relative, this is what relative. So now look into what absolute. So absolute is nothing but as you can see that in our figure. Okay, so when it is what absolute, so the distance is calculated from the top. Okay, not with the previous element. Instead of that what about the window size? Okay, so here it will consider what window. So from the window it is what 150 pixel and 200 pixel. In my example, I have taken that as what 100 pixel and 200 pixel. Got it? Okay. So let us modify this to 150 pixel. I'll press Ctrl S. I will back to my the web browser. So this is what still last output. Now I'll refresh this. You can notice that. So what about the top space? It is 150 pixel, right? Now you can see that. Okay, from the top it is 150 pixel, towards left there is what 200 pixel space. Okay, again I will change this value from 150 to 100 pixel top value, and again come back to your output. Okay, so now you see what if I'll resize the web page. Okay, so what about the position value? Okay, this is absolute, right? Absolute is nothing but what, which is fixed. So that is the what length, the top value and left value, so which will be calculated according to the windows position. Okay, so window position, this is not relative to the previous one, right? So that's why you can see that this image is what uh, even even I have resized this window. You can see that that image is what on the same position. So what if I'll make that as what relative? Okay, absolute to relative again. Okay, Control S. I will back to what output. Now I'll refresh this. So now you can observe that. So since it's a relative position, okay, relative position, you can see that. Is it right? So that image is moving. So as when the number of lines in the previous, first paragraph is what moving, so that image is also moving, because this is relative to the what previous element. What about the previous element? That is what paragraph. So that's why image is also moving according to the previous paragraph. Okay. Next one is what Z index. Z index is nothing but each position element has a stacking order defined by the Z index property. Okay, that means we can put elements, we can place our element on top of another. Okay, so and it is what Z we call it as what a Z index property. That means Z axis. In 2D, in two dimension, we have only length and breadth. Okay, so that means x axis and y axis. What about the Z axis? It's a depth. Okay, depth property. So you can okay, the larger Z index value, which is closer to the viewer. Okay, now we'll look into what example.
Here the style is only for the figure, right? Now I'll write what for caption also I'm writing what style. So here you can see that z index is what 1. Before to that, now I'm going to delete this. Control X, Control ES. Okay, now you'll run this. So you can notice that that caption is what again absolute. So it's nothing but, okay, wait a minute. Okay, so here position of both the figure as well as figure caption is what absolute. It's nothing but because we are nesting that caption within figure, right? Okay, so figure take a distance from the web page, and what about the fig caption? Since it is nested within the figure, so the stop value is nothing but from the figure. Okay, from figure it is what 150 pixel, and again left is what 200 pixel. You can notice that in our output. Okay, so the distance from here to here is what 90 pixel. Yeah, here. Okay, this is what 90 pixel, right? So from here to here the distance is what 90 pixel, and towards left it is what 200 pixel. Now again 150 and 200, 150 and 200 is nothing but here from here. Okay, uh, from here to caption is what 150, and towards left it is what 200 pixel again, because since we have defined this caption within this figure. Okay, so this is related to this container. Okay, so figure caption within figure, right? Okay, so with the reference to figure, the top and left value is what 150 and 200. Now what about the width of figure? It is 300. What if I'll make this as what 350 or 300 like this? Now you can see that. Okay, control S. Now you can see that it is going out of that box, right? Why? Because from the left it has taken what 300. Now that the size of that image itself is what 300, so it has gone out of this figure box. Okay, so now I'll come back to what z index, nothing but depth. Control V, 1, and again here I'll again write z index. So both are 1. Now I'll make that 5 and 1, or else. Okay, uh, so minus 1. Okay, so figure z index is what minus 1. So as I already told you that higher the value means which is near to viewer. Okay, now I'll control S. I'll go back to output and then again refresh the page. You can see that so text on top of this image, right? Because which this text is what near than the image. Why? Because I have made that as what negative value. So what if I'll make that as 1? Okay, so 1. Now I'll refresh this. So now it has been displayed on top of the paragraph, right? Okay, okay, now minus 1. Now I'll make the slide change here, 200. Okay, so 200 pixel left. I'll go back and I'll refresh this. So you can see that caption is behind this image. Why? Because so that z index value of that caption is what minus 1, and again z index value of figure is what 1, so that you can see this figure on top of this figure caption. You want this on top of that figure means you need to give a higher index value, that is 2, 2 or 1. Okay, 2 or 1. Now you can see that caption here, because z index value of that caption is what 2, which is higher, is it right, than the figure z index value. That's why you can see this MIT Mysore caption on top of this image. So likewise we can use this z index in order to move elements along this z axis.
Welcome back. So previously we have discussed about positioning of element. So now in continuation of that positioning element, floating elements. So what do you mean by floating elements? So you already observed that in some web pages, as when you resize the web page, so that position of the images or whatever the elements, okay, so it will be moved from left to right, right? Okay, moving towards left and moving towards right. So that is what floating. So as I already told you, so floating element is nothing but elements can be floated to the left or floated to the right. So when you are resize the web pages, some elements in that web pages will move towards left or towards right. Is it right? Okay. So that is what we call it as floating elements. And again, elements around this floating elements. Okay. So elements around this floating elements. One element is floating means. So what about the elements which is around to that? Okay. So that means which is beside to that. So that is also reflowed. Okay. That is also reflowed according to the floating element. And again, width specified. So for the block level floating elements, we need to specify what width. Otherwise, by default it is what auto. Okay, by default that the value is what auto. So it's nothing but that the float window will occupy the width of that float window will occupy entire width of the container. This is nothing but, so for example, if I define this floating element within a body means then the body is what the container. So suppose if I define that floating elements within a form, okay, or else within the article, so then that article width is what the default width of floating element. Okay, so that means it will automatically occupies what entire width of the container. Okay, let us consider an example of floating element. Okay, so floating elements. So here within body I have defined h1 tag, so that is float example, and then which is followed by what paragraph. So then figure, within figure I have defined two more tags, one is image, so that means in place of this will display this image. Okay, and again figure caption, that means this is what the caption I am given for what this image1.jpg. So figure caption I have closed, and again I have closed this figure, so followed by what paragraph, and again I have closed this body, and again HTML. So before to that I need to style this figure, okay, because I have to make that float. So first I will execute without float, and again I will modify that same program and I will execute one more time in order to make sure you people the difference between float and without float. Okay, so here border 1 point solid, here I will write it's a continuation of this A8 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 is nothing but is the color code. Okay, so border color. So next one is what I have to put semicolon. So background color, again colon, so hash ed dt. Okay, so this is the color code, and again margin 5 pixel, padding 10 pixel, width. So what width is what 150 pixel. This is what compulsory for block level floating elements. We need to specify so width. Otherwise, it's going to occupy full container width. So now I will close this figure. So now again I will close this style. So now if I will run this program, you can notice that in our output. Okay. So again I am going to modify this same example with float. Okay. So with the float left, okay. So that same program with I am adding here one line of code, that is float colon left. Okay. So now if I will run this, you can notice that that figure is always appear in the left side of the web page. Okay. So what about if it is right? it will come to right side. So now I will modify this right. Okay, now I will modify same program to the right. So now you can notice that, so there is a image, okay, image on the right side of the screen. Now it is displaying what image. So that is what the float. Okay, that is what float. Now if I will resize also, it will that position of that image is not change. Okay, it will always at the right side of the screen. Okay, so that is what about floating. So now I will make a slight changes for this in order to explain margins. Okay, so significance of margin. In order to expand that, I will modify the same program. Here I have written 1p, right? Okay, so now I am going to write one more paragraph here. Okay, so p dot 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 slash p. So this is up to 5 lines of code, and within this third paragraph I have to write what few more, and I will make these components should be appear within article. Okay, article. So now I have to close this article. So and again I will close what body tag, again followed by what HTML. Okay, so HTML I have to close. So now I will make a changes for this style. So here is what the one more example. Here I have written a style for article separate, and again p, that means for paragraph I have written style separate, and again figure. So that means for this figure, within that I have what we have image as well as figure caption. Okay, so for that again I have written what one more style with the border, background, padding, width. Okay, width is compulsory for block level floating element. Okay, so and again float is what left, that means so that figure is always appear on the left side of the web page. Okay, next margin is what 10 pixel. So now you can observe that there is a margin here. Okay, and again within p also we have a margin, and again here also we have a margin, right? Okay, so now if I will run this program, you can notice the output. So in that you can observe that, so article margin is nothing but that's the margin between article content and the body. Okay, so this is between body and article. Okay, and again so this margin, so margin p, so that means paragraph margin is nothing but this is the margin between one paragraph to another paragraph. Okay, so and again this margin, what about this margin within this figure, right? So that means in this figure we have both image as well as caption. So together it will form what figure. So for that figure again there is a margin with 10 pixel. Now I'll change this margin to margin top colon 10 pixel here also. Okay. So for the P paragraph, again margin top colon 16 pixel. Okay, 16 pixel. Else I will write it once again. So margin top equals 16 px. Now you can observe that there is two separate margin, for one is paragraph, another one is for what figure. So here we have two separate margins, and these margins are not collapsible. That means, so even we can't collapse these margins. So you have already seen that in our table borders. So there we can collapse the borders, right? So like that, here we can't collapse margins. Okay. So for the block level floating elements, we can't collapse margins. Next, how to display multiple elements side by side. Okay. Now look into this example program. Assume that I have written 6 figure tags. Okay. Here I have written only 2, right? So open tag and close tag of figure, right? So here again open tag and close tag. So assume that we have such 6 figure tags. Okay. So we have 6 figure tags. So first one is what? Image 1 figure 1. So caption figure 1 and source is what? Image 1. So next image 2 figure 2, image 3 figure 3, like that. So assume that there are 6 figure tags, so followed by paragraph. Okay. And in this paragraph we'll have 5 to 10 lines of code. Okay, content. So now this is what the style for that figure. That means here we had 6 figures, right? Okay. So all 6 figures will be floated to left side. So that means now you can observe that in our output. So if I'll try to resize the web page, so this all those images will always appear on the left side of the web page. So now if I'll modify what about the fourth figure? Okay, fourth figure with the class name, class equals okay first. Okay, so class equal to what? First. So fourth figure. So after that again we had 2 more figures, and again for this paragraph, first paragraph, again I am going to write what class equals within double quotes, so first. So this is what the class name. So this is what the class name have given for what paragraph, as well as this fourth figure. Okay, fourth figure. So now if I will run the program, so okay, before to this I have to write what first. So dot first. Why? Because so first is what? Class name. So first clear colon left. Okay, clear colon left. So now if I'll run the same program, you can notice that in our output So even though if I'll try to resize the web page, so this fourth image as well as the first paragraph, so will always start from what left. Okay. So whereas what about the previous output? So this is not happened. So that means here clear left is make sure that this figure as well as P should always begin with what start from what left side. Okay. So this what we call it as clear property. Okay, this is what we call it as clear property. There are 4 such properties. So that is left, right. So left, right, both, and none. So these are all what 4 clear properties that we can use with this floating elements. So in order to display elements side by side. Only floating elements within a container means that container will disappear. For example, so figure tag which we already discussed in the previous example. So it has both image tag as well as fig caption, right? Fig caption. So if both of these elements are floated to left, okay, floated to left, that means which I already explained. So we have 4 types of clear properties. Okay, so that is left, right, both, or none. Is it right? Okay. So if these 2 tags are what floated to left, so it's nothing but this figure won't have normal control flow. Okay, so normal control flow. So normal control flow. So since this figure won't have normal control flow elements, so the content of that figure is what height is what 0. So that now I'll explain with example so that you can understand it in a better way. So in this article we have one figure with image and caption. So and again followed by what paragraph tag, and what about the class of that paragraph? It is what first. So followed by 10 lines of content, and again I have closed this paragraph, and again closing tag of article, closing tag of body, and again HTML. So coming part to the head part of yes, here head. So within head part of the HTML, so here I have written style. So and again at the end I close this style. Okay, so and I have to close this head. Okay. So now figure image, that means within that figure what we have image, right? So for this image here I have written width and float is what left, and margin is what 0 and 5 pixels. So and again within figure again we had this caption, right? So for that caption again I have given style with the width 100 pixel, float left. Okay, so that's it. So next for figure again, so border, background color, margin, padding, and width. Width is compulsory, as I have already told you that for the block level floating elements we need to write width. Okay, that is compulsory. Okay, now I am going to close this figure followed by dot first. Here I have written class dot first, right? Okay, so first dot first, within that clear left is nothing but what? So when we run this program, that paragraph is always start from what? Left side. Okay, so if I'll run this program, you can notice that now output. So if I'll modify this same program, okay, so with the overflow auto. So now you can notice that the changes in the output. So now look into our next topic. So overlaying and hiding elements. So overlaying is nothing but overlapping one image on a top of another image. Okay. So that you have seen that in Facebook. So for the profile pic, it will have what I love India. So something like that. Okay. So that is what the overlaying of an image. That means on top of your profile pic, so they are adding that caption, right? Okay. So that is what the overlaying one image on top of another. So like that here also we can overlaying element. Okay. Overlaying element, and again hiding. So we can also hide the element. So how means? So look into example. For in order to overlaying image, so position is what it plays what important role. So why? Because so we need to display image on top of another image, or element within on top of another element. Is it right? Okay. So if so, position plays an important role over here. So that means that position is what? Relative. So now we'll move into what example. So assume that here we have two images. Okay, within this figure, let us consider here we have one image with the image one JPEG, and caption for that image is what? Figure 1. So and again second image is what? Source. Okay. So now I will consider first our example dot png. Okay. So png, you know that property of png image, is that right? So png image, it won't have any background. Okay. So what about this? It will have what? Background. So here png images, it has transparent background. Okay. So now I will close this figure. Okay. Now I will erase this figure caption property. So now here I had two images. For this second image, I have defined class overlay, and again overlay property is what? Position absolute. So from the top it is what? 10 pixel, and from the left it is what? 10 pixel. So in that position I need to display now. So look here we had one image and again second image within this figure, right? Okay. So within this figure, so from the top, okay, from the top 10 pixel, and from the left again 10 pixel. Okay. So likewise I need to display what? A second one. So is nothing but the first image is overlapped by what? Second image. So this is what? The PNG image. Since it's a PNG image, so you can see this image on top of this one, image1.jpg. So likewise we can display, we can overlap one image on top of another image, okay, or one element on top of another element. Okay. So now here, so I'll add one more property for this. So display none. So for this overlay, again I am adding what? Display equal to what? None. So it's nothing but, so even though we have what that image, it won't display on top of another image. That means here I have written this display none for the class overlay, and this overlay class is for what? Image, second image within this figure, right? So that means display none is nothing but it won't display the second image. Okay, it won't display the second image. Actually this image is overlapping what? The first one, but now since I have made that was display none, so this second image is not displaying. Now, so and again if it is auto, auto, so it automatically display that second image on top of first one. Okay. So likewise, as I already mentioned that overlaying and hiding. So for hiding, this is the one way to hide, that is display equal to none, display colon none. Okay. So and again, so we'll also have a property called visibility. Okay. Instead of display, so we can write what? Visibility, so colon hidden. Okay. So that means in place of that it won't display any other character. So that is reserved for that figure, but this figure. So if that figure is not found, means so you can see that that space will left empty. Okay, that's it for today's session. Now we'll continue from the next session. Thank you.